All right, welcome, gentlemen. This is clearly one of my favorite questions about influencers, because it's amazing to me, who people have been influenced by, and it shines light on how we influence people all the time, whether we think it or not. So I'm just going to go Brady Bunch from how I see you. Robert, can you tell me one or two people that have been influencers in your life?
Sure. I mean, I think that first, obviously, I have to acknowledge my wife, Mary, in terms of she just is such an extraordinary, special, and woman in terms of the role that she played in, well, just her resilience and pushing through a lot of challenges in her life to extraordinary contributor to benefit so many folks. And in that regard, she introduced me to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and the influencers there were really the moms and dads of children with type 1 diabetes. The founders, Carol Lurie and LeadersWhoCare, what they taught me was something very important, which was in 1970 when they founded the organization, the general belief amongst medical experts was that their children would have a very shortened, troubled life, would never live to adulthood or have their own children or live long lives, and their children with type 1 diabetes. And they basically called BS on that. They said, that's not acceptable. We're not going to allow for that. We're going to do something about it. And so around kitchen tables back in the 70s, they organized groups of moms and dads to say, no, we're going to find a cure for this disease. And that's what they've done. And you're talking about now it's 50 years later, of course, but that organization has raised billions of dollars for diabetes research, has been a leader, in advocating much more broad, investment by federal government, state governments, industry, and otherwise. But the point is, it was just a group of moms and dads sitting around their kitchen tables saying, we don't like the status quo, we're not going to accept it, and we're going to do something about it. And that taught me an enormous amount, because as a doctor, I always had thought about health and healthcare from the kind of the scientific perspective before. That really changed my whole point of view, which was this was about the people, and it was really responding to their needs and interests and concerns. That was my first responsibility.
That's awesome. Moms are always there. They're the one, no doubt about it. Hey, Stephen.
I just can't pinpoint one specific, because I'm just incentivized when I walk across the street or I meet somebody or somebody on Zoom and they just have so much passion. I think, wow, let's see if we can amplify that hope and that passion, the good work they're doing. So it's everybody that has a very positive reference of moving the needle and making a meaningful contribution in whatever way they can. That's what drives me, and I consider them influencers to me.
Well, there's a good lesson in that, because you have to be open to it, right? And you certainly are. So that's a great answer. And best for last, sorry guys. Michael?
Yeah, so you asked me that and I thought, okay, I don't have a sophisticated answer like Steve did, which is great, but I thought of Hillel. Hillel once said, if not now, when, and if not I, who? And that sort of applies to me. We've been talking a lot about improving healthcare using AI, and eventually you just need to do it, and that is very interesting because it's not as easy as it seems or as straightforward. So you encounter a lot of interesting people along the way, but eventually you need to get started somewhere. And I really like him in general, as a philosopher, as a writer. But I think that quote really fits with what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, again, it's a lesson for all of us that, what's that expression? One way or another, you'll brand yourself. Well, one way or another, you're influencing somebody, and it's something we should always remember. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing this and participating, and keep making a difference.
Thanks, Mark.
Very, very nice. Or thanks for organizing this.